1957, the world watched a sunrise over Africa. For the first time in modern history, a black nation stood tall, free from colonial rule. The drums of Ghana thundered through Accra. Men and women danced in the streets. And at the heart of it all stood a man with fire in his eyes. Kwame Nkrumah, a teacher turned visionary who dared to dream of a united continent. He raised his hand before a sea of people and declared, "At long last, the battle has ended, and Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever." To the oppressed across Africa, it was not just Ghana's freedom. It was a signal that the chains of empire could finally break. But every sunrise cast shadows, and behind that golden dawn, darker forces were already stirring. Born in 1909 in the Gold Coast, Kwame Nkrumah was a boy who questioned everything. He studied in the United States, walked the streets of Harlem, and listened to the thunder of Marcus Garvey's call, "Africa for Africans." In London, he gathered students and exiles, weaving movements that whispered of freedom. When he returned home, he became more than a politician. He became a spark. His voice electrified the air. "Seek ye first the political kingdom, and all else shall be added unto you." The British jailed him, yet from his cell, he won the election. When he walked free, a sea of humanity lifted him on their shoulders. To them, Nkrumah was not just a leader, he was prophecy fulfilled. As president, he dreamed beyond Ghana's borders. He saw Africa not as 50 scattered colonies, but as one people, one destiny. He built schools, factories and dams, believing education and industry were the true weapons of liberation. He invited scientists, poets, dreamers to his new capital, Accra, the Black Star of Africa. But in the corridors of power, not everyone shared his dream. Foreign interests whispered of his radicalism. They feared a united Africa, an Africa that could stand equal among nations. Still, Nkrumah pressed on. In 1963, he founded the Organization of African Unity. His words echoed through Addis Ababa. "We face neither east nor west. We face forward." The crowd roared. For a moment, it seemed the dream might live. Then came the fall. While Nkrumah was abroad seeking peace in Vietnam, soldiers stormed the palace. In 1966, the man who had freed a nation was overthrown, not by enemies of freedom, but by those he once trusted. The radio crackled. The Kwame Nkrumah government has been overthrown. Crowds that once cheered his name now tore down his statues, not in hatred, but in fear and confusion. Behind the coup, invisible hands tightened their grip. Years later, documents would reveal foreign intelligence, proof that his dream had threatened too many powers to survive. Nkrumah never returned home. He wandered from exile to exile, writing, hoping, believing that one day Africa would awaken. Kwame Nkrumah died in 1972, far from the land he loved. A president without a country, a dreamer without a home. But dreams do not die, they sleep in the hearts of those who still believe. Today, his statues rise again across Ghana, and his words echo in classrooms and rallies. The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. He foresaw a future where Africa would stand not as a story of struggle, but as a symphony of nations. Bold, united, and free, the dream was betrayed, but it was never buried. When you hear the word freedom, remember the man who tried to give it meaning. Remember Kwame Nkrumah, the dream that was betrayed. If this story moved you, help keep Africa's forgotten voices alive. Like, share, and subscribe to the Unnamed Legacy for more untold stories from history's shadows.